When you don't know how money works, lots of industries profit from your lack of knowledge. In today's video, we're going to be talking about 8 money traps you can avoid in order for you to succeed financially. My name is Manuel Smith. Welcome to Mr. Smith's Finance. The first one on the list is going to be not living within your means. Spending more than you actually have isn't sustainable. As most of you probably already experienced by now, once those bills start piling up, if you don't have the money to pay for them, it's gonna put you in crippling debt. To live below your means, you have to have the discipline to actually not spend money on the things that you want and instead keep your money for the things that you need. Living below my means has helped me purchase my first duplex property back when I was 22. I am currently 25 now. The way I did that was by actually saving my money, not spending money on things that I didn't need, unnecessary spendings like shoes, extra food, going out to eat. There was a lot of those things I had to sacrifice because financially, I know where I wanted my money to go. I'm so thankful that I did that because buying that property back then has taught me so much on a business standpoint when it comes to how the housing market works and how everything else in life works, things that schools unfortunately don't teach people here. Living within or below your means now is the best way to achieve the state of financial freedom you want to be in. The second trap is going to be not taking advantage of your free time to make extra income. By that I mean, don't use your extra time to scroll through social media. Don't use the extra time to binge watch your favorite shows on Netflix. Give me a second. Like I was saying, don't use your extra time to binge watch shows on Netflix. Instead, why don't you go ahead and use that time to learn a skill that will help you build a side hustle or that will help you make extra income from a side hustle. There's also additional jobs you could take on to bring in more income. Things like Uber Eats, delivering on Uber Eats. I did that for a couple of months. Delivering on DoorDash, I also did that. And I didn't choose to do those things because I wasn't bringing income at the time. I was already bringing income at the time. I did those things so I could bring in more income, so I could use that money to invest, so I could use that money to put towards my retirement, so I could use that money to save more. The third trap we're going to go ahead and talk about is going to be not investing early enough. Have you guys ever heard of compound interest? Compound interest is pretty much interest that you earn on top of your interest. Let's go ahead and use this investment calculator that I found online to go ahead and calculate how much money we would have if we invested at an earlier age in difference to a later age. Now, let's go ahead and put the starting amount to $10,000. Let's say we put down $10,000 here. And let's say we have 35 years to invest. I'm 25, 25 plus 35 is going to give you 60. By 60, I take this money out. And let's say on top of that, every month I put $200 into this investment account. Now, hypothetically enough, the annual rate of return over a 30-year period from the stock market is a total of 9.89%, if I'm not mistaken. So let's just leave it at an average of 8% compounded annually from that. All right, so the total amount we would have invested is $94,000. And the ending investment balance would be $579,000. That's not bad. That's not bad if we were to invest with that amount and start off at this point. Let's go ahead and compare that to if we were to start at 40. Let's say life happens, kids, marriage, all that other stuff, and we ended up starting late during our years at 40 years old. So instead of 35, age to retirement is going to be in 20 more years. So let's put 20 years to invest. And just to catch up on things, we put $20,000 down to as the initial starting. All right, 20,000, and on top of that, we add an extra 100 per month. And let's keep the rate of return at the amount that it's currently at, just so we can see where we'd be at. Look at this. That's if you start late during your years. That's why investing early is essential to saving for retirement, because guys, by the time we retire, there is not going to be any social security, and not a lot of jobs and careers offer pensions. Now you have 401ks, so you want to start investing early. If not, just start learning how to invest and what to invest into, because this is essential to your retirement. The fourth trap is going to be not taking enough calculated risk in your early years, in your 20s, for example. I believe your 20s should be used for taking smart calculated risk. Start that business. Learn a new skill that will help you and your side hustle. Move to the city that you've been wanting to move to because there's better opportunities there for you. Focus on those things that's gonna help you. Reason why your 20s is the time to do this is because around that time range, you don't have too much responsibilities that you have to take care of. For example, you're probably not married, you probably don't have kids, and you're probably just trying to figure things out. That's why this is the time where you actually want to take those calculated risks in order to gain life experience, gain the experience in your entrepreneurship ventures, to go ahead and put that towards what you're gonna build for the future. I myself, I'm very grateful that I actually didn't have the mindset of, oh man, I don't wanna do this right now, even though I'm young. I had the mindset of, let me go ahead and try this out. Maybe it'll work out. For example, last year I tried out dropshipping. Dropshipping is something I always wanted to try out. And when I did it, I was so happy because I learned so much about the online e-commerce world that I'm just like, wow, there's opportunities to make money everywhere. Go ahead and take risks. Those things that you would learn if you were to actually take risks, those experiences are things that you're not gonna learn in school. They're things that even a mentor is not gonna be able to teach you, because things that you actually learn yourself in life stay with you. You're never gonna forget those things. So go ahead and take those risks. The fifth trap is actually going to be not having an emergency fund. This is something that is very important to have, at least in my opinion, because emergencies happen in every corner that there is, especially when you least expect it. Inflation right now is at its highest levels in 40 years, which means that things are way more expensive than they were before. Before it got this bad, there was a survey that I read from CNBC, which stated that 56% of Americans can't cover a $1,000 emergency expense. That was in the beginning of this year. Right now, because of how high inflation have gone, I'm pretty sure that number is probably way more than 56% right now. It is very essential for you to have an emergency fund, man. Not having an emergency fund could put you in crippling debt. Not having an emergency fund could put you in situations where you do certain things that you might not be proud of afterwards. So having an emergency fund is something that you must have. Some experts will tell you you must have 3 to 6 months saved up, 3 to 6 months of your salary saved up. From personal experience, I can tell you guys that it's probably best if you just have however amount, like the highest amount you can have saved up for an emergency fund, go ahead and have that saved up. Emergency spendings will happen. So go ahead and just save up some money. Depending on how much you make and depending on what your cost of living is, depending on where you stay at, go ahead and save something that will be realistic enough if you were to actually have an emergency expense that you had to take care of. The sixth trap is going to be not having a good credit score. Now, this is imperative to have. It is very essential in today's society to have a good credit score. Not just credit in general, but a good credit score. I know it's hard to start off with a good credit score unless you were fortunate enough to have someone that taught you about credit at a younger age. Because one thing with credit, it takes time to build a good credit score because of all the variables that goes into building that credit score. In today's world, for almost anything that you're doing that's like a big thing or a life event, as you will call them, you need a good credit score to do it. If you're renting, they look at your credit score. You need a good credit score for that. Certain jobs look at credit scores. You need a credit score for that. If you're applying for another credit card, you need a good credit score more than likely if you want to get approved for that credit card or a loan or a mortgage. There's a lot of things that you need to have a good credit score for. Therefore, you need to make sure you stay on top of your credit so you can qualify for the best rates possible. As in the long term, you actually save money by qualifying for those better rates. As long as you sit down and educate yourself on credit and how credit works, it should be easy for you to build a good credit score. The seventh trap is going to be going into debt while trying to keep up with the Joneses. By that, I mean, let's say you finally got that promotion that you've been working hard for at work and you bringing in some extra income. And with that extra income, as soon as you get it, that truck that you've been looking at, you go ahead and buy it. Let's say those shoes you've been wanting to buy, you finally have enough money now and you go and buy them. Instead of doing that, you probably want to go ahead and save up some extra money. Go ahead and invest into something. Go ahead and put your money in something that doesn't depreciate. Go ahead and put your money into something that appreciates over time. For example, put your money into stocks. Learn how to invest. Put your money towards a retirement. Unless you're one of those people that buys new cars to make money on tool road, then go ahead and get that car if you have to. Unless you're one of those people that buys those shoes and flip them for a profit, go ahead and do that if that's what you're into. However, all I'm saying is, instead of using the extra income that you're finally now getting on something that is depreciating over time, go ahead and buy something and put that money towards something that's gonna make you money over time. Make your money work for you. That's the goal at the end of the day. The last one on this list is going to be college. Yes, college. $1.75 trillion. That's how much money in student debt we have right now. I don't know. In my opinion, college just have so much more cons than pros. Except if you're going to school to be like a brain surgeon or some type of doctor or a lawyer, something that requires for you to go to school. Most of the things nowadays, you don't need a college degree. For example, being a police officer, most agencies don't require for you to have a bachelor's or even a master's or even an associate to start that career path. There's a lot of other career paths that don't require one of those things. And the other downside of actually going to school is, after you're done with school, you have your college degree like you were told by society to go to school, get a job. When you actually come out and you apply for one of those jobs that you want to apply for, that was within the career field that you chose in college, they go and tell you, oh, you have no job experience, we can't hire you. How are you supposed to have job experience if you were in college the whole time? That's like mind-blowing. That's ridiculous to me. One of the things that led me to believe that I actually didn't need college to succeed in life was when I became a banker and I started sitting down with people that actually had money. I'm talking about lots of money in their accounts. And I would pick their brains a bit when I have them at my desk. I would ask them, hey, I'm young and I actually want to hopefully be somewhere where you're currently at financially. Do you have any tips? How did you do it? What did you learn in school? Where did you go and learn these skills? And most of them would laugh at me. They would go, school didn't teach me none of this. I learned all of this by taking risk, by doing things myself. Or I learned most of this by what my father left behind for me. Or I learned most of this from actually trying things out myself, by starting from the bottom to building something myself. I was like, wow. And actually a couple of them said, I don't even have a high school diploma. I was like, wow, these people are filthy rich. When I say filthy rich, these people had a lot of money. And they're not celebrities. They're your regular Joes that wear regular clothes that you would never think have money in their accounts. But they had a lot of money. And ever since working at the bank, I can say that I know I didn't need college. And I am happy I did not go to college. Don't get me wrong, if you're going to school to become a brain surgeon or some type of doctor, go ahead and take your time and go to college, because people like you are needed in society. We're gonna need someone to do those surgeries. We're gonna need someone to be a lawyer. So unless you're one of those people, I don't think that college is worth it. And I think it's a big scam. These were the 8 traps that I wanted to go over that I believe if you guys avoid in society or do the opposite of, that you'll put you in a better position to succeed financially. Once again, my name is Manuel Smith. Thank you guys for watching this video. Go ahead and subscribe so you guys can watch more content like this. Thank you.